Hello and welcome to another episode of Football Everyday, coming to you live and direct as always from the studios here at the Menara Star. I'm Nelsen, and joining me today, the usual Football Everyday guys, Daryl, Zack and Shebby, of course. Loads to look forward to in today's show, as along with all the football chat, we'll be giving you questions to Week 6. That's right, we're already into Week 6 of the Star Tiger FC Road to Barcelona contest, okay? But let's get straight into the football chat. I think we've all missed Premiership action.
Finally, he's coming back this weekend.
Yeah, and just after tonight's World Cup qualifiers, Premiership action resumes this weekend. So got to start with the early kickoff on Saturday, where Chelsea visit Middlesbrough. Shebby, you think the Blues will be able to carry the good form of late at the Riverside?
I think they will. I think more so because I don't see Middlesbrough as having too many attacking options, and I think they've missed Tunchai and his work rate. Mido's out injured as well, and I don't think Alves at this moment, to me he's more like a penalty box striker, not somebody who will help you otherwise. And Chelsea just look too strong at the moment, so I would think it'll be much closer. So I'm going to go with Chelsea just narrowly winning that.
Zach, got to ask you, do your thoughts echo that of Shebby?
Definitely.
Or you think Borough are capable of getting a result?
Well, Borough always raised their game against the
against
top
Man
teams.
United.
Yeah, against the Man Uniteds and the Arsenals and the Chelseas and
Spurs.
Liverpool. But you got to remember that Chelsea have got a perfect away record. They're nearly unbeaten at home. You can't beat them at home, and now they look like they're almost unbeatable away as well. So I really can't see a Borough doing anything. Having said that, like I said earlier, Borough do raise the game against the top teams. So, if they raise it, they may have a chance. But I'm sticking with the stats, and the stats suggest it's a Chelsea
Right, but let's
win.
go to Daryl. Daryl's always got a knack of going against the norm.
I just want to throw a question to you guys. Looking at Borough, right? Like Gareth Southgate, he's a defender, but as a manager, right? Now as a manager, he's basically been favouring attacking football. Yep. And he's not led him to much success in the recent weeks. And that 1-0 they scraped against Wigan 2 weeks back.
Yeah.
What will this weekend bring for Southgate? Is he basically just going to close shop?
What do you think, Sheb? You think that Southgate? After Steve McLaren's kind of negative start, it's been pretty fun to watch Borough. Right?
That's the word, fun to watch Borough.
I think he's headed in the right direction. Yes, you mentioned the fact he's a defender, but his philosophy on football is different. He wants to play an attacking style.
He plays two up front on a regular basis, which is great.
I think he's got the makings of a very, very good team, and I would say he's been very clever in the transfer market as well. I thought getting Mohamed Shoki in central midfield, I thought was a really good signing. So Southgate and Roy Keane, they impressed me in that they are showing the beginnings of going people who can go on to become great managers.
Right. But score prediction, Daryl?
Well, maybe all the injury problems that Shebby pointed out before the show for Borough, it's going to be really uphill for them. But I would seriously go for a 1-1 draw.
Yeah, I'm going for a draw.
I'm going for a draw.
You're gonna go against the stats, are you there?
Yeah. No, I think Chelsea
Daryl
they've got such a good momentum going for them. And expect one or two players back from injury as well, especially after the long break. Once again, like I said, the momentum is carrying them through. I think it'll be tight, but it'll be 2-1 to Chelsea.
Shep, the one thing that could work in Borough's favour is the fact that it's after the international break, and a lot of Chelsea stars were on the international duty, so could fatigue be a factor in this one?
We like to think that that will be the case here, but I think Scolari, his experience having managed at international level, he knows how to deal. He will know how to deal with players when they come back, so I don't think that will be too much of a factor.
Coles out.
Maybe, and I think they'll be ready to play on the weekend. I think maybe when it comes to Manchester City, especially the Brazilians having to travel that far, to play in South America and then come back, they could be the ones who could struggle. But for Chelsea, I think nah.
Okay.
All right. We'll take a look at a couple other big matches that are coming up this weekend. But I think right now we've got to take a short little break for some quick messages from our sponsors. So keep it right here on Football Everyday, and we'll be right back. And you're back with us here on Football Everyday for the second segment of today's show. Coming up just after this, Daryl's going to give you the questions to week 6 of the Star Tiger FC Road to Barcelona contest, of course. But just before that, alright, let's take a look at this weekend's matches. And another big one that catches our eye is Arsenal playing Everton. I think Zack's pretty excited,
Yeah, I'm very excited.
Shebby, I've got to ask you, how crucial will David Moyes' signing of a new contract be to Everton's hopes of, taking something from the Emirates?
I think he's put himself under a lot of pressure, by delaying the contract signing, by perhaps making one or two demands that he took his eye off the ball, and the team, is not a typical David Moyes team that we all know. How quickly is he going to be able to turn it around?
Right.
I'm not sure, but definitely not by this weekend. I'm sorry, Zack. You're going to
No.
But yeah, Zack, I can't leave you out of this for sure. How do
Yeah.
you see this one shaping up? You agree with Shebby in general?
Well, I agree with Shebby in the
Don't
fact
agree
that
with me, Zack.
I agree with you, Sheb, in what you said in the terms of that.
What, David Moyes?
David Moyes, the delaying of the signing of his contract has definitely affected the players. I mean, that's obvious to anyone who's watched Everton on a regular basis. I mean, but I think that now we can draw the line under all that and finally start the season. I mean, it's almost November, so maybe Everton's season will start. But Everton, like I said on Tip Talk, Everton have never had much luck against a team like Arsenal. I think the Dogs of War thing works to a certain extent, but I think Arsenal are too experienced now to deal with that kind of physical play. And if you keep giving the ball away, as Everton have been doing recently, and to a team like Arsenal, you're going to get punished. So I'm worried.
Yeah.
Very worried.
Daryl, quick score prediction before we get into the contest?
Well, I mean, this one, Everton is basically going to be up against it also again, and 2-0 to Arsenal, I guess.
Yeah, all hands
Yeah,
on
I
deck. It's a
think-
long 90 minutes,
Sorry, Zack,
Nelsen.
but yeah.
It's a long 90 minutes to be defending, and unless we're at the top of our game, we need a miracle.
But after 6 years as Everton manager, Shebby, you're the neutral here. Do you think he's value for money, Moyes?
I think he's done well. I think he has shown progress. He's made strides with Everton. But I just feel that this season in particular is a time of transition. I think they've yet to replace Lee Carsley. I mean, Zack spoke about somebody trying to win the ball. I think that's one area where they are lacking. Now, of course, they've got Castillo who does a good job, but he's still new. I think Fellaini is going to be a very very good player. So
he scored again.
for
he's been
Belgium.
scoring for Belgium.
So it is a season of transition. So I think they will be a bit inconsistent, but don't expect too much this season. But from next year, because having to replace key players, and you've got to do it slowly. You can't say en bloc I've got to replace too many players at the same time. It can affect you. So
I'd like to raise the point that all the things that gone on in the summer hasn't helped. I mean, Everton has had a terrible summer. I think it's well reported. Not buying any players until like 2 weeks into
Missing
the
out
season.
on Europe as well.
Missing out on Europe, Carling Cup we fell as well. So all that really, the board has got to take some share of the blame. I mean, 2 consecutive seasons of finishing 5th, and they chose not to sort of build on the team.
Right.
Instead, they chose to sell people like Lee Carsley, integral, Andy Johnson. So it's not just Moyes' fault, really.
Great stuff. Okay, now it's contest time.
we'll come back after the break for the contest.
But the time all been waiting for actually, the Star Tiger FC Road to Barcelona contest. We're into week 6, right? How fast time flies. We're already into week 6 and things are hotting up, right?
Okay.
Since we're running out of time for second segment, I'll just get straight to the questions for Daryl.
Okay, Tiger Road to
From
Barcelona
Daryl.
contest week 6. Question 1 is who did Thierry Henry beat to become Arsenal's all-time top scorer? And question 2, there are only 2 English managers in the UEFA Cup. Name one of them.
That's right, there you've got the questions from Daryl. Don't worry in case you missed it, because we will, as always, repeat it in segment 3. Just to wrap it up, right? Contest runs for 8 consecutive weeks. We're into week 6 as mentioned. 2 questions are given out each week, alright? What you got to do is look out for the entry form in the Football Everyday Pull Out every Friday.
All the
Grab
info
the
is
form,
there.
that's right, all the info is there. Collect all the answers for 8 weeks. Complete a simple slogan, send it to us, and you could walk away with the grand prize of a trip to Barcelona to catch the El Clasico between Real Madrid and Barcelona.
Excellent.
Loads of other great prizes up for grabs as well. Like Daryl said, more info in
And
the
of
Football
course, you can
Everyday
also
Pull-Out.
get to taste some Tiger beer in Barcelona itself.
That's right.
That's
So
quite nice actually.
yeah, with that we'll close segment 2. We got to take a little break. Stay with us. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
More talk soon.
And you're back with us here on the third and final segment of Football Every Day. Getting back into the weekend's matches, I think, that's what we're all really eager to talk about. I think another match you cannot not mention is what we were talking about before the show. Newcastle playing host to Manchester City. Shebby, got to start with you. How do you see this one shaping up?
Shabby's a big fan of Joe Kinnear. Huh?
Well, Joe Kinnear was a very loyal servant to Spurs. Did extremely well. Anyway, it is to me it's going to be a strange game because yes, I think Newcastle finally got it right against Everton. I mean, they worked hard and they showed that there was a very good team spirit happening for them. But I just get the feeling that Man City perhaps will enjoy this, because Newcastle are just going to go out and attack, and Man City will pick them off on the counter attack.
Right.
So I'm going to be very brave here and go with Man City winning at St James's Park.
What about you, Daryl? I mean,
Well, you've seen the England team without Michael Owen. I mean, I think basically this weekend, Michael Owen's basically going to have a point to prove to Capello, and I would say a good performance by him and Newcastle to maybe a win.
but got to ask Zack, right? Robinho is in good form. If you speak about Michael Owen,
He's gonna be very
Robinho
tired coming back.
scored twice
No,
for Brazil.
undoubtedly,
Although he will
but
be tired, but
But he's got a really long flight to get back to Newcastle and then a coach ride up to the northeast, although it's not that far from Manchester. But that's one thing I got to raise, one point I got raised. You think the pressure beyond the Newcastle players playing in front of their own crowd, 55,000 jollies at St James, it was different playing at Goodison Park where the pressure was kind of off, At home, their fans get, after 20 minutes of dire football, the fans are going to get on their back.
and it's been a
How are
while
gonna
since they got
handle
a
that?
win.
I think the reaction, the fans' reaction to Joe Kinnear, I don't think has been that bad.
Well, he hasn't been on the stands. He hasn't been there. Though.
But I think they more or less like in typical Newcastle fashion have decided, right, we'll give the new men some time. If things don't work out, then we'll get on the back, on his back. But again, they are very, very discontented with Mike Ashley and Dennis Wise. So their anger is pointed in a different direction. So I think they'll allow Joe Kinnear time, and I think they will be happy if Newcastle apply themselves the way they did against Everton. Just work and work and work.
Because
and
I see
Newcastle
two different
fans
kinds of
will
teams,
accept
Shebby.
that.
Yeah.
Newcastle fans like that. They like 100%ers.
But I always see Newcastle's a really Jekyll and Hyde kind of team. They do all right away, and I get this feeling that they're so relieved to not be playing in front of the moaning Geordies with their banners and Ashby out and all this. It's like a relief to travel somewhere to play,
I think you've got a point there, Zack. But I think these 55,000 will support them in this game at least. I mean,
Will Joey Barton be on a team sheet? on Magpies? That'll be
well,
interesting.
I think Joey Barton, yes, not the best of characters really, but I think if you look at him purely from a footballer's angle, he is a hard-working, non-stop action, aggressive midfielder.
It's a box-to-box kind of midfielder.
Yeah, and you need that kind of a midfielder. Gennaro Gattuso is a legend in Italy, but Joey Barton will never be a legend in England simply because of what he does off the pitch. But on the pitch, I mean, they are similar. They are both tigerish. They both give their all, and they're not afraid to leave their studs behind sometimes. But it's accepted.
It's the first time I heard Gattuso compared to Barton.
But yes,
I mean, similar kind of characters on the pitch, but off the pitch, obviously. Joey Barton gets it wrong.
very quickly before we get into the questions once again, Shebby, speaking of players, it just cropped up that Roque Santa Cruz is kind of angling for a move to Man City.
What a surprise!
Right? Yeah. You think Man City need him?
No, I think he will be an asset to any team in the Premier League. I think he came into the Premier League. He's adapted so well, and yes, everybody will be angling to play for Man City now. So they'll be. I think he'll be great. I mean, in partnership with Joe or on his own, either way, I think he'll be great.
Right.
And obviously the reunion with Mark Hughes as well would be a very timely. Hughes is the one that brought him into
Man
England.
City being a
He has it,
passing
yep,
team,
that's right.
so why not?
All right, great stuff. All right, just to wrap it up, We've
Yes,
got the
sir.
questions to
One
week
more round,
6 of
just
the
one
Star
more
Tiger
round.
FC Road to Barcelona contest. One more round. Daryl's going to read it for you very, very clearly.
I've got the
once
questions
again.
and all the information is in the Fridays pull out of football every day. So I mean, I'm going to look for that. But just this question 1, who did Thierry Henry beat to become Arsenal's all-time top scorer?
We all know that, right?
And question 2, there are only 2 English managers in the UEFA Cup now. Name one of them.
All right.
Simple,
Thank you
simple.
very much, Daryl.
Only 2, eh? Only two English
Yep,
managers.
only 2, believe it or
quite
not. Great
quite
stuff, guys.
incredible.
Thanks a lot. But that's about all the time we have on today's show. If you've got anything to say, of course, please do drop us an email at.
football@thestar.com.my.
That's right. Thanks again, Shebby, Zack, Daryl. With that, it's goodbye here on Football Every Day. See you next week.
Ciao.